Good evening. This is David Lynn, and you're here with Coffee Talk number 354. It's right at 7 p.m., and this is Sunday, December the 9th. 2 weeks to go before Christmas break. KP Heathen, my friend, welcome. Idaho Garden Girl, welcome. Joseph Moore, welcome. Appreciate y'all being here. I have people contact me that I know either through my personal life or through YouTube. Um, I did 35 minutes yesterday. I was tired. It's been a long week, and I'm tired and dragging. And I don't do live streams just to do live streams. I don't do live streams just to do live streams. If I don't feel like it, if I don't feel like I'm put some effort into it, or if I feel like I'm running out of gas, I stop. So I was on the phone a little earlier with one of my friends who watches my he lurks. He watches my videos. He says, "Hey, you stopped early yesterday. I was disappointed." I said, "Well, you didn't leave me any comments." So he said he'd leave me a comment this evening. So he said, "You gonna be on this evening?" I said, "Yeah, I'll be on this evening at 7." So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. If it goes well, I'll do my hour. If it seems like it's lagging, or that I run out of stuff to go over, or that there's hardly anybody here, I'll cut it off early. It's no big deal, no skin off my nose, and I apologize if it disappoints anybody if I cut things off a little early. If you stick with me all the way, so today I finished shooting the footage for the 1,800 subscriber giveaway. Everything is shot. I've got several segments that I've got to piece together now, edit together. I've got to put some. I've got to do the description. I've got to link the channels that were in the drawing. I've got to do a shout out of the channels that were in the drawing. There's some stuff I need to do to get it done. I'm not going to do an intake. I'm not going to do an outtake. I'm not going to put any fluff in it. But I do need to edit it so it looks professionally done, decently done. And it's all shot. On to like I said, on to 1,900. There'll be a 1,900 subscriber giveaway, and I'm at 1,825 right now. And you think, well, 1,825, that's a good start. That happened overnight. One particular large channel came in and visited me and subscribed my channel, and I went back and I subscribed them, and I went to their live stream, and I left a couple of comments in their live stream, and I guess they shouted me out, and before you knew it, I picked up 20 some odd subscribers overnight, and they stuck with me. So that's how things happen sometimes. You grow in spurts. It would be nice when I was active with my channel, constantly active with my channel, I would average 100 or more new subscribers a month. And I'm happy with that. And then you've got people who, they probably put out better content than I do. They edit better than I do. Their music is better than mine. Their graphics are better than mine. I mean, that they put more time into it than I'm able to now. And their channels are growing faster than my channel. And that happens. And more power to them. I wish them well. God bless them. I'm not competing with anybody. I was sitting at 1,500 subscribers the first week in January. We're in the second week in December now, almost a year later, and I'm sitting at a little over 1,800 subscribers. So what does that mean? That means in a period of a year, just about, I picked up 300 subscribers. this, I have not had the effort, and I have not been able to do what I normally would do. And then, and then I had several months of my wife's illness. I've been sick a lot this year, not making excuses, but I appreciate those of you who have stuck with me. And I give back to those who support me. Melinda Elliott. Hello, Melinda Elliott. How are you doing? And most of the people that are like the channels that are here right now, they were all in the drawing. Any one of you could have won. There were 14. Melinda had asked, well, how many channels were there this time? 14. Last time there was 13. When I did the 1700, there were 13 channels. And then when I did the 15 and 1600, both times it was over 40 channels. But, it is what it is. I have not been doing very many videos. I'm going to do a video which is basically the 1800 subscriber giveaway. I've got a box that Uncle Al, Fragile says, box that Uncle Al sent me. He wanted to know if I got it. Yes, I got it. And I'm going to do I'm going to do a video of that. Hello, Tommy. Tommy Temper, welcome. Tommy has 7,350 subscribers, which is a lot more than I have. A lot bigger channel. Sure, a lot more active channel. Welcome, Tommy. Retirement days. Give me a minute and I will try to give you a standard moderator. I'm basically using my backup channel to monitor the stream. So I've got to switch out. I think I'm sitting at 7 likes, 7 in the house right now. Let me shift back, switch channels to my main channel. It's a big production to do this. All right, Tommy, you are a standard moderator on my channel. Thank you for being here. Switching back. Subscriptions. No, I don't do Facebook. Get the hell out of here, Facebook. Back to the live stream. Okay, I'm back where I was at. Utah Mike, hello, Utah Mike, welcome. And somebody asked me, well, why aren't I looking at the main, for one thing, I'm sitting back a little bit, I'm blind, and I really can't see the graphics on that to know who is, it's very small. I'm using an iPad. Yeah, I guess I could use a TV, Tommy. I could use a TV, I just haven't. Please leave a like to support the channel. It will be greatly appreciated. Just checking on everything here. Who's here? Uncle Al, Bullfrog 79. Thank you for coming. So I guess I should mention some of the stuff that's happening. The Assad government in Syria fell. The rebels came in and took the capital. Assad fled. They don't know where he fled to. his palace guard, his presidential guard. A lot of those are Russians. They're trying to get they're trying to get out of the country. It's a mess right now, and Russia does not have the ability to go in and prop him up. With they're struggling trying to deal with Ukraine right now, so they don't have the ability to go in and support their mercenaries. President Trump said, "Don't get involved." I don't think Biden's going to take the advice. Biden's like a bull in a china shop. And just remember, if they invoke the 24th Amendment, if they invoke the 24th Amendment for the last month and a half or whatever, who do you think we would have as president? You think that's going to be any better? And supposedly we do have 900 troops over there in the area, um, which we really don't need there. Yeah, for one thing, Biden's doing what he can to stick it to the Democratic Party. They basically forced him to step down from running, and his method of sticking it to them was to basically endorse Kamala Harris. Um, Obama did not want Harris. It took him several days after Biden did that before Obama got on board. You know, and there's a lot of stuff coming out that apparently Harris spent probably about 4 times as much money as Trump did. A lot of it was just blowing away money. Right now, they're trying to raise money to pay the debts that they overspent beyond that $2 billion that they had. They blew $2 billion. A lot of it they were paying these super rich woke Hollywood types, music types, to endorse her. Well, if they were big Kamala fans and they really wanted to endorse her, should you have to pay somebody a couple of $1 million to endorse you? Think about that. So, yeah, things could be worse. We're just trying to get through to the transition. January the 20th. January the 6th, I think that they will count the electors, and they will make the election official. Hopefully, it will be a peaceful transition of power, and you already have leaders of various countries reaching out to Trump. Trump apparently made some sort of statement about leaving NATO if they don't behave. They don't get their act together if they don't behave. He was threatening to leave NATO. He's done that before. He did that the last time when he was president. He wanted them to contribute more towards their defense. The United States should not have to pick up all the expenditures for world peace. Hello, Mama Four Boys. You doing okay, Rachel? 9 in the house, 11 likes. Every day, pray. The Lord gave us the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, that's the Lord's Prayer, and that's the one you should be praying every day. Every day, thank God for the day. You don't know how many days you have, they're numbered. So, that's where we're at there. And I'm looking at, what I have going on this week. I anticipate it'll be well, at this time of year, they have lots of teachers who are absent, lots of staff who are absent. They have a hard time covering classes. They can't get enough substitutes. They pull aides that are like, campus aides that are in different departments and such. They pull them to cover classes. And it's real hard to get the academics done when, you're in that type of situation. There's not a lot of academics going on in a class with a substitute. You know, they're true. I mean, I can lie, and I can, I was a school administrator for 23 years. I put 30 years in education. I came back last year out of retirement, and I know what the party line is, and I know what the truth is. You know, they don't like to hear the truth. Sometimes. Buying Space, how you doing, Buying Space? Thank you for coming. Most of the channels that are in here right now were in the drawing. Most of y'all were in the drawing. Tommy wasn't in the drawing. And I don't think pre-retirement was in the drawing. Let me look. I'll tell y'all again who was in the drawing. Yoda, Vintage Americana, Buying Space, KP Heathen, Mom of Four Boys, Devil Dog Prepper, Ed's Mundia, that would be Gina or Jules of Gina. She's a friend who's an administrator in the Philippines. Beautiful lady, beautiful channel. She's got a couple of channels. She likes to dance. If you're not, subscribed, subscribe. She'll support you. You support her. Linda Elliott, Hillbilly Josh, Lady Dark Gaming, the Black Widow's Web or Black Widow channel, Idaho Garden Girl, Unkael, Die Bullfrog 79, Uncle Al, and Little Lone Prepper. Those are the channels that were in the drawing, and one of y'all won a really nice box. I mean, a nice box. And you will enjoy the video that I did. Well, it happens. Some people slack. Well, okay, I'll tell you this. School districts struggle, especially large school districts, will struggle to cover classes during heavy absence periods. There was a day this last week I spoke to one of the APs, I think it was Wednesday, 18 substitutes. 18. And they didn't have 18 substitutes. So they were struggling to cover classes. And we're shorthanded because we have positions open for paraprofessionals. And, and they've had positions open for paraprofessionals pretty much the whole school year. They don't pay that well, paraprofessionals. They don't pay substitutes that well. If you're a substitute and you are a long-term sub, that means you work 10 days in a row in a position. You get $130 a day after 10 days. $130 a day. That's if you're a certified teacher, or you've got a degree. $130 a day. And you can say, well, you're there for 8 hours. What does that come to? It's what, $15 an hour? But that's not that much. You want to go buy a meal, you're going to pay $11, $12, $13 for a meal. It's like working an hour to basically buy you a combo. But it is what it is. And they're, paraprofessionals don't get paid that much. Paraprofessionals, they're making maybe $80 a day. They don't get paid that much. So 13 in the house, 14 likes. So, that being said, education, we lost a lot in the pandemic. We went for a couple of years where kids weren't getting growth. I mean, the bulk of the kids. Now, the top quartile, the top 25, 30% of the kids, they're going to learn no matter what. You could homeschool those kids, you could prep school those kids, you could whatever with those kids. Distance learning, and they'll do well. There'll be a second quartile, which basically makes them about 50%. They'll struggle a little bit more. Their parents will make them try. They won't learn as much, but they'll progress. And then you got the bottom half, and you're not going to get much from them, like distance learning. Like they were issuing them like Chromebooks, and then wanting them to do learning from home. Some of them didn't have internet. They didn't have the ability to hook into the, and the other thing is that the signal is not that good sometimes. It's hard to get a good signal. So a lot of that, like distance learning, where you got teachers teaching from a distance and you're accessing or you're going on to try to, like me doing a live stream right now, and then I'm trying to teach something. How well do you think that's going to be with a kid that doesn't really want to do it, but they're sort of halfway being made to? So they've got the TV on, and then they're playing a game on their phone, or they're doing something else, or they're not paying attention. Um, Diesel heaters. How? How? Diesel heaters. Well, I've got stuff I'm waiting on coming in. I order stuff off of Amazon, stuff that I use regularly, stuff that I eat, preps. I I will tell you this: not everything that you get that's freeze dried is good for 30 years. You know, sometimes you go and you buy freeze dried food. I'd research it before I ordered it, and it says it's got up to 10 years. The shelf life is up to 10 years. So, as an example, brown rice. You can get freeze dried brown rice. If you buy brown rice, it doesn't have a long shelf life. Brown rice will last you 6, 9 months before it goes bad if you just buy brown rice. You need to use it within the first 6, 8, 10 months at most. White rice lasts a lot longer. But if you freeze dry it, it's good for about 10 years. Okay? It'll have a 10-year shelf life. If you buy freeze dried brown rice, and you're going to pay a lot for that brown rice. I just got through buying a couple of pails, 4 pound or 4 pound pails of white rice. $40 a pail. Bought 2 of them. $40 a pail, and that was on sale. Freeze dried white rice. Belinda's Country Living. Hello, Belinda's Country Living. How you doing, Belinda? Good to see you, or good to have you in here. Please leave a like to support the channel if you haven't done so. So, I enjoy being able to do videos, putting them together. I enjoy when I can edit and I can do the music and I can do the graphics and all the little stuff, and all the way I used to. I enjoy that. That's a nice little hobby. I enjoy that. You trying to be creative and trying to splice together stuff and trying to make it interesting and transitions with music and such. I enjoy that. I use iMovie, and I'm pretty good with it. But people use different things, but you got to have time to do that. Like I just got the last segment shot today. I will work on editing it and um, doing my description, which I've got to put a lot of information in my description, getting it ready so I can release it. And I'm just going to release it. It's not going to be a premiere or anything. I'm just going to drop it when I drop it. And it may be 2 or 3 days before I do that. And I will, I'll do that as fast as I can. But I have other things going on. I have work. Also, a lot of times when I come in, I'm tired. I'm not motivated. I'm not always motivated to do it. And you got to be in a decent mood and decent motivation when it comes to stuff like that. I try to get out a couple of um, shorts a day. Now, when I do shorts, um, when I do shorts, they're usually food related shorts. Like, what have I been eating? I've got 3 or 4 of them ready to load up right now, meals and such. What I've been eating. And is it, you eat all that? No, not really. I get my wife upset because I'll eat a part of it. Sometimes if it's like steak or ribs or whatever, I eat a part of it and I say I'll eat the rest of it tomorrow. Um, when I was young, I could eat 3 tacos. Big plate, I'd eat the whole damn thing. I couldn't gain weight. I was skin and bones. Nowadays, I look at food and I gain weight. So a lot of times, I have I bring tacos and I'll bring tacos for people at work. Like my kids. I've got 4 students. If they're behaving, I'll bring them tacos a couple times a week. So I bring some extra tacos again for $2. The place I go to is $2. You get two ingredients for in a taco for $2. And sometimes I don't eat the whole taco. I'll order one, or I get one for myself, and I'll eat half or 3/4 of it, and I don't eat the whole thing. Sometimes I force myself to eat, and it makes me want to throw up. Like I eat too much, it makes me want to throw up, which is not good. Mr. Whistle, hello, Mr. Whistle. Thank you for coming. Hope you're doing well. And for those of you who want to know, it is in the 50s right now. Well, finders keepers. Finders keepers. But it was in the 50s and it was like drizzling and raining today, pretty much all day long. Right now we're having our rainy weather. It was dry. Now it's wet. And sometimes it might be I'll have to check to see what it says, but it may be down in the 40s tomorrow. We haven't had any freezing weather yet. My wife was telling me shouldn't get any freezing weather in the next week, but it'll get down cold at night and it warms up a little bit during the day. It's overcast during the day, so you don't really get much. You're not getting sun. You're not getting a lot of solar. If you got solar, you're not getting a lot of solar. Might want to look into some small turbines that you can put up on your roof. That'll generate 100, 150 watts of power. When they're running, when you got wind. And see, that's the other thing where I'm at. Sometimes you got a lot of wind, sometimes you don't have any wind. So just because you got some turbines up there does not mean that those things are producing much power. They might not be producing any power. That's something you got to think about. And I'll tell you this. I'm 62 years old. I don't do what I used to do. I brought a couple of light bulbs. I bought a pack of light bulbs to school. I've got two closets. I wanted to change out the light bulbs. I couldn't reach it. I asked the head custodian, could you send somebody over with a ladder to change my light bulbs? One of them was out. One of them, I don't know when it was going to go out. So I said, I just want both of them changed out. I had somebody do it. I don't do what I used to do. I don't do carpentry. I don't do electrical. I don't do plumbing. I used to be able to do framing. I used to be able to do brickwork. I could do roofing. When I was younger, I could do any of that. I used to own property. I inherited property. I owned property. Replace broken glasses, fix holes in the wall. Um, I learned all that sort of stuff. I had people that worked for me on pretty much full time maintenance and such, and I would go over there and I'd watch them, and sometimes I'd help them, and I learned how to do it. And then later on, buying a house and remodeling it, I used to do that kind of stuff. And I was a lot younger then. I can't do any of the stuff I used to do. I used to be into martial arts. One time I was going to open up my own studio. My teacher was a fifth degree black belt in Taekwondo, was going to sponsor me for my own um, studio because we didn't have ATA here, and we still don't have ATA here. But I don't remember any of that stuff. I couldn't do a form to save my life. I can't. I don't have range of motion the way I used to. I can't do any of the stuff I used to do when I was younger. If you'd have known me when I was 20 years old, you wouldn't recognize me. I had nice hair. I wore contacts back then. I was all blonde. I was skin and bones. I was skinny. I used to skateboard. Used to play guitar. I did all sorts of stuff, and I don't do it anymore. And I'm basically not the same person I used to be. But that happens as you age. Yes, I don't like the smell of diesel either. Um, we changed. I changed out. I went and bought a couple of new 100-foot long water hoses, the heavy duty ones. They don't, they don't last forever. They start having probably kink on you and start having issues with them, and just the ones that I had were not as heavy duty as the ones I bought. So earlier this fall, I bought one for the front and one for the back so that I could reach all of my plants and the roses and various bushes and various things, and water everything. And we still have to water, even when we're getting rain. We're still watering. Yeah, I hear you, little long prepper. I used to be able, yeah, I used to be able to, like range of motion. We basically would get down the ground and basically work on spreading our legs so we could do almost a split. Like you doing this kind of stuff. Against the wall, have somebody behind you pushing you to spread your legs. For your, trying to work on your uh, abilities and such. Um, I was still into it when I was in my early 40s, 20 years ago, and then I stopped. I could not do what I used to do. I didn't have the range of motion. I didn't have the speed that I used to have. So you're older and you're doing that kind of stuff. And when I was younger, I would compete, and we would go to a tournament, and we would basically what they call spar, where you would basically compete against somebody for points. I got out of that. I would basically compete for forms. So I would go and I would compete doing forms, and you would have people, usually older people, that didn't. I mean, some young kid would beat the crap out of me, for points because I just didn't have the speed that I used to have. But I would do, and I'd get number ones. I would get trophies for being able to do a form. They weren't as good at doing forms. Young people, their forms didn't look as slick, and I could do a real slick form. Like you pick a form, and you go and you present your form, and they judge you. There are judges there, and they're judging, and I would judge. I would be on a panel judging, and we would judge people what they were doing, and it was fun. I used to love it. I used to love working with the kids, you know, and all the discipline and everything. And we would not train kids. Today, they will train kids that they shouldn't. Um, you don't you don't train a thug. You're not trying to teach a thug how to be a better thug. You're not trying to teach a thug how to be able to bully, or you're not teaching them. You do not want to teach them when they're aggressive to be able to take advantage of people. If they're going to use what you teach them for aggression, and basically martial arts is to be used for defense, you don't teach those people. I mean, you kick them out. Today, where my wife goes to studio, and when her health was better, and she would go and she would teach, and there'd be thugs in there. The way they behave, the way they act, when they're not, just they don't want to listen to you. They don't have the discipline that they should have. Just kids, but they're thugs. I'd kick their ass out in a hurry. I wouldn't put up with that. But it's like today. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna fight with you. I'm just gonna. Texas is a carry state, concealed carry, open carry, stand your ground state. If somebody tries to come up and rob me, or somebody wants to come up and try to assault me or whatever, my life is threatened. I'll defend myself. I won't do it the way I used to do it. You back me into a corner. I'm not armed. I will try to defend myself. I tell kids that. I said, don't take a beating from anybody. Don't be the first one to throw a punch. Try to avoid a conflict. Try to get away from somebody. But if you get backed into a corner and somebody's going to try to beat the hell out of you, defend yourself. You know, I tell people that. Ten watching and 16 likes. So let me talk a little bit about monetization. Some people want to get monetized. So if you're on the road to get monetized, there are a couple different levels of monetization. You can get partially monetized with 500 subscribers and 3,000 watch hours. You want full monetization, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. I think it's a little easier to get the subscribers than it is to get the watch hours. You're talking watch hours, you're talking 4,000 watch hours. Now, when I was fully active and working on my channel all the time, putting out content and doing everything, I'm getting about 600 watch hours a month. Now, is that great? No. For me, it was great. But 4,000 watch hours, if you can get 400 watch hours a month, take you 10 months to get 4,000 watch hours. If you can get and during that time, if you can pick up 100 subscribers a month, you can get to the point where you have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. Takes a good year. From when you're starting out, it'll take a good year. And you got to work that channel every day. You got to work that channel. And then when you apply for monetization and you get approval for monetization, you're not going to start getting a check until they owe you at least $100. They don't send you money unless they owe you at least $100. And I'm not at the point, and I've been monetized for a couple of months, I'm not at the point where I've made $100. So, and there are people who work their butts off. They have channels that are 2, 3 times the size of mine. They work their butts off, and every month they get $100, $125. And they put out a hell of a lot more content. They get a hell of a lot more views. They put a lot more time into their channel. And they may get $100, $125 a month. And you think, well, now, mind you, teaching, you're a certified teacher, starting pay, you're going to start at right at $50,000 a year. $50,000 a year. And, and you're going to work 180, 86, 187 days. So figure that out and do the math on it. You figure out how much you make a day. Figure out how much you make a day. So teaching, and mind you, I'm sort of topped out. I'm not at the bottom, I'm topped out. So I'm not a starting teacher. I've got over 30 years experience. And so let's say it takes me 3 or 4 months to get a $100 check. Now, mind you, I'm probably making $400 or more a day teaching. When you figure out at the end of the month what I make. Now, I'm not going to give you the specifics, but what I'm trying to say is I make a hell of a lot more money working my job, which I do 5 days a week, 8, 9 hours a day, than if I was putting in 7 or 8 hours a day, because I've done that. When I was not working, I was putting in 7, 8 hours a day on my channel. And it was doing a lot better. But I guarantee you, I wasn't doing the kind of, I wasn't doing what I would do that would make me any sort of money that I could live off of. You've got to have a huge channel to be able to do that. Jocelyn's Vlog of Taiwan. Hello, Jocelyn. Thank you for coming. Jocelyn has got a wonderful channel. Right now, she's about 13 hours ahead, so it is Monday morning over where she's at. If you are not subscribed to Jocelyn's channel, I encourage you to do so. She has a lot going on. She has a lot more subscribers. I know she's got over 10,000 subscribers. She live streams all the time. She puts out. Thank you for coming in, Utah Mike. Appreciate you. Yep. Recycling or playing poker. That's true. That is true. But there are channels and they get really big. They blow up and they get really big. And they have the following and they get the views. They get views. A good month for me would be to hit 30,000 views. And that's when I'm active. That's when I'm putting out content and I'm doing lots of live streams. And, I'm at the point where I do a live stream and I get 300, 350 views off of it. It's been a long time since I've done a live stream and got 300, 350 views on that live stream. Right now, it's good when I get 50 views, 60 views on a live stream. Yes, selling merchandise. What am I going to sell? I've thought about it. I could do custom MREs. There are people, one thing you better incorporate so that if something goes wrong, they don't attack your personal assets. You better be incorporated if you start doing some of that stuff. And I've thought about doing it. Black Dog Bob If anybody knows who Black Dog Bob is, um, Bob Gaskin, he's had a couple of different businesses where, like Minotaur Trading. He's had a couple of different businesses where he would sell custom MREs. He puts together like military, like MREs, like the military would do, but a little bit more stuff in it, a little bit better stuff in it. And he got too ambitious, in my opinion. And I mean, more power to him. I don't know how he's doing right now, so I'm just talking about back in the days. He had a hard time keeping staff. You can't do it on your own. He had a hard time getting stuff. He had a hard time getting stuff out on time. He would send out stuff and it would take a while to get it out. And, he struggled. And I don't know if he's still in business or not, but he went by Minotaur Trading. And then he had a couple of different, and I used to buy from him. I used to buy cases from him, and I would buy mystery boxes from him and such. And but he's former military, more power to him. But I've thought about doing that. Would I sell merchandise? Could I sell merchandise? Yeah, I guess I could sell merchandise. Like sponsorships. Normally, you get to the point where you get sponsorships when you've got at least 20,000 subscribers, where you'll be asked to sponsor something, or they start sending you freebies wanting you to review it and do a video of reviewing it. I don't have anybody sponsoring me. I don't have anybody other than private individuals. Sometimes they send me stuff in a box and I send them stuff in a box. I don't have anybody. I'm not paid to represent anything. I basically just talk about stuff that I buy, that I recommend, stuff that I own, that I use, and I will make recommendations to my subscribers. And I'll post stuff on my community wall, and sometimes I'll put it in a video or whatever, or I'll talk about it. And I'm not out to make money that way. I don't do. I'm not asking people to send me what they call super chats, where they Hillbilly Josh, how you doing, Hillbilly Josh? I'm not asking people to send me what they call super chats, where they send you money or they donate money to you. I'm not asking for that. And there are people who get a lot of them, and they live on that kind of stuff. They build up a channel, and that's their occupation. They build up a channel, and they got 50, 60,000 subscribers, and they got people, and they're all constantly begging for people to send them money. I don't beg for anybody to send me anything. You want to send me a box of goodies? I appreciate it, and I'll send you a box of goodies. We'll exchange hostages, if you want to call it, or exchange goodies, whatever. But so it's like super chats. Nope, I don't want that. I don't do memberships. I don't do memberships. I don't feel like I produce sufficient content, or that my content is worthy of charging for it. Somebody's a member. The fact that you come back and you visit me on a regular basis, and I've got 15, 20, 25, 30 people sometimes, that I know they're going to look at my stuff and they leave comments on my stuff. And I used to, when I had time, I'd do the same thing on everything that they put. They watch everything I put out. I watch everything they put out. I haven't been doing that, and I have not been running playlists where I'm giving people like they run a live stream for an hour or 2 hours, and I run that live stream overnight. I haven't been doing that. I used to have a handful of people. I'd run their live streams, they'd run my live streams, and I got a lot more hours, a lot more watch hours, because people were running my stuff. And I just haven't been doing it. I haven't had the heart to do it. I haven't had the mind to do it. When I get through with this here, I'm probably going to eat a little supper, and then we'll go to bed. And I got to get up in the morning, 4:30, 5 o'clock, to start getting ready for the coming day. That's my life right now. Today, I did my clothes. Yeah, you got to watch out. You know, there are people who are scammers. They do a lot of scam stuff, and you don't want to have to worry about, like, is the law looking over my shoulder because I did something other illegal, or did I do something other I can get in trouble for that I didn't even know it was something that could get me in trouble? Nope. Uh, when I send people MREs, it's like stuff that's like from companies like Sapaco or one of the three big, or like Apex or um, Humanitarian Daily Rations. I'll send, like, when I send out a box of stuff, sometimes I'll put some rations in it, or I put some components in it. You know, I'm not making any of this stuff. I'm not opening this stuff up. I'm sending it on. I'm sending stuff that's already packaged up and everything. And I've never heard of Hawk Girl. I don't even know. I don't know what Hawk Girl, whoever Hawk Girl is. Might be somebody that got in trouble. You know, somebody got in trouble. Now I will say this, and I was reading about it. January the 9th, cutoff date for TikTok. They have to have sold. They have to have been sold. Their ownership has to change hands. They cannot no longer be part of the Chinese Communist Party. They can't be Chinese owned. If they are, they're shut off in the United States. And that was a bipartisan bill signed into law. So you have about a month. Then TikTok may be going by the wayside. And they're saying they're not going to sell. You know, I mean, it happens. Um, India, you don't get TikTok in India. India and China do not get along. They've come close to going to war. They've actually fought each other. They've done a lot of hand-to-hand fighting along that mountain area that they're fighting over there. And China keeps going in over the lines into their place, into their space, and they'll meet them, and then they'll fight, and they'll kill each other hand to hand. China has got everybody upset with them. They just announced that they're going to put a ban on sending out precious minerals that we need for that we would use for certain types of weapons and such. They also are responsible for a lot of the components that we use for our medications. Do you think that's right? That we have to stay in the good graces of China in order to be able to get our medicines, antibiotics, and various, certain medications, bulk of our medications, like 85% of them. What's up with that? You think that's going to stay the way it is when Trump comes into office? There's going to be a lot of changes when Trump comes into office. I'll tell you that. Yeah, they invaded Tibet over there, the Himalayas. Yep. They're fighting over little areas that used to be part of India, and then they became independent, and now they're trying to move into those areas. They occupy Tibet. They moved out a lot of the population, and they moved in a lot of Chinese, the ethnic Chinese. So they basically overwhelmed the country by moving in, their people. And they've got illegals coming into our country here. Men of military age. Quite large numbers. And they're buying up land around bases. All that crap's got to stop, and they got to make them sell that stuff. They've got to put them out. It's like building the wall. I like watching those videos where it shows along the border, Texas, Arizona, certain areas. They're building the wall. The states are building the wall. It's not the federal government. It's the states that are building the wall. They're spending millions and millions of dollars. It costs about $25 million for a mile of wall. The bollard and the concrete and what they're doing to put the stuff up. you know. And that wall isn't going up fast. It takes time to put that wall up. It takes time. And they've got a lot of gaps in the wall. Hell, there's more gaps in the wall than there is wall. And they're putting up a lot of Constantina wire, and they're putting up fencing and such. And, you know, they still try to get through all that. I've watched videos of that stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of drones flying around. A lot of drones. Well, for one thing, Japan hates China. South Korea hates China. The Philippines now hate China. Now, Taiwan is pretty well armed. Japan is pretty well armed. South Korea is pretty well armed. They got Australia over there. There's a lot of people, like Vietnam. They're not that well armed, but they got a lot of people. And they could certainly come up with a lot of foot soldiers that are armed. You know, I mean, China's fought with Vietnam in the past. And, you know, and then they say, well, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it in a hurry. We usually keep four battle groups over in the Pacific, 4 carrier groups over there. And that doesn't count the Marine, the little carriers, the little strike carriers that basically are equipped with the F-35s that also carry, you know, expeditionary troops. Like they'll have them carry a brigade, an expeditionary brigade of Marines. And then they've got 20, 30 of the F-35s, the ones that can take off on the short takeoff. Not counting those. But they're capital ships, you know, and they're over there, and they support the carriers, you know. And I don't know. Israel went into the Golan Heights today. Yeah, they got to go take the high ground. They really need to set up a buffer zone, 25 or 30 miles. They need to go in around them about 25 or 30 miles, and they got to basically have like a dead zone where they've got to try to overcome infiltration and such. That's one of those things that they need to worry about. Same thing, you know, along the border. You know, we build wall back from the river, and technically they cross the river and they get onto land. So technically they're in the United States, but the wall is in between them. You know. And then they go until they can find a way to get through the damn wall. Well, they can't really climb over the wall because the wall in most places is 30 feet high. And you're not going to get a ladder that's going to get them up that, you know, like that. And the other thing is that somebody shows up with something like that, there'll be somebody waiting for them on the other side. Personally, I would change the way things are, and I'd start shooting some of them. They come through and they try to use force to try to get in. You know, you have a few incidents the way they used to, where you shoot a few of them. Word gets around, oh no, they're shooting illegals. That'll encourage a lot of them to not try to come in. You know, oh, you can't do that. That's wrong. That's cruel. You know. Well, you get these criminal types trying to come through, and they're trying to bring in drugs. What do you think you do with them? You know, they come through. A lot of them try to come through. They're armed. They're trying to smuggle in drugs. They're trying to smuggle in, cartel types. What, you're going to talk harshly to them? Well, we spoke harshly to them. Please. Please. Yeah, buffer zone. We need a buffer zone. You know, we need a buffer zone. Okay, so I don't know that I'll be back tomorrow. I post on if I'm not going to do a live stream, I post on my community wall prior to. So best thing you can do is check my community posts. If I'm not going to do a live stream, I'll do a community post stating that I'm not going to do a live stream. If you don't see anything, chances are I'll do a live stream. But I've got work this week, and I appreciate everybody that supports me. I appreciate you coming through. I support those who support me, and I try to give back by sending people stuff. You watch my stuff regularly, you support me regularly, and I try to give back to you. It's my way to say thank you. Yeah, I think probably I'm sort of shadow bound as far as that goes. Anyway, when you get up in the morning, thank God for the day. You don't know how many days you have. Drink your coffee, say the Lord's Prayer, treat people the way you want to be treated. As soon as I get edited, I'll be putting out the 1800 subscriber giveaway video. And I appreciate you. I enjoyed this live stream. I think it was a very good live stream. Everybody, please have a blessed day. And I'll be back for another coffee talk in the near future. Thank you. Bye.